Joining us live now to talk about what Democrats are doing to fight back, the vice chair of the House Democratic Caucus, Los Angeles area Congressman Ted Lieu. Congressman Lieu, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Kristen.
I should let our viewers know that you have just introduced a bill to stop rising hate crimes. We'll get to that certainly, but we've got to dive first into what's happening, what's been happening, from ICE raids in your backyard, using the National Guard troops that had historically been under the governor's control, to the billions of federal dollars cut for everything from education to climate to infrastructure like high-speed rail. Is this, in your opinion, war?
The Trump administration is engaged in illegal mass racial profiling. So, for example, they went ahead and invaded a park in Los Angeles. There was no justification for that. They weren't going after any specific people. They just wanted to go to a park that had a bunch of brown people and try to round them up. And that is unconstitutional. It is illegal. And it turned out they didn't actually find any person who was undocumented, because these are not targeted operations. These are designed to sow fear in the community, and that's why the city of Los Angeles has sued, as well as other groups such as the ACLU.
Look, you're a former prosecutor, and California, of course, has filed some 20 lawsuits, right? But is that the only strategy? And, you know, there's some favorable court rulings recently to expanding presidential powers. Are there other things, you know, under your sleeves or in your sleeves?
I thought the No Kings protests were immensely helpful, and I'm going to paraphrase James Madison now, who in 1788 said that a democracy is basically saved by the virtue of the people. So when the people across America rise up and tell the administration to stop engaging in illegal behavior, and they go to town halls and they speak out and go to protests and marches and rallies, that is how we slow down and stop the illegal behavior of the Trump administration.
And we've seen some rallies, but I wonder if you think we're close to reaching a tipping point where you get that mass mobilization. Like, when you look at this, do you wonder how bad does it have to get and what has to happen for there to actually be that kind of movement nationwide?
Well, we definitely know that public sentiment has shifted. The latest Associated Press poll has Donald Trump at 60% disapproval and only 39% approval. That's a really huge 21-point gap. And more importantly, he was underwater on every issue, including immigration, which used to be one of his strongest issues. Now it's one of his weaker ones.
That is true. His popularity has sunken recently, right? Especially after the big, beautiful bill with the cuts to Medicaid, all that. But I want to ask you, what about those doing the fighting, the Democrats? Because your party is underwater as well. A recent poll shows your unfavorability is what, 30%? Actually, 30% is favorable, 62% is unfavorable. So other than just kind of hoping that the president will get more unpopular, what can Democrats do? What are you doing? What do you think your party should be doing?
So thank you for that question. So we're fighting back in Washington, D.C. We've held a number of shadow hearings exposing their illegal and unconstitutional ICE raids. We've done shadow hearings on the illegal deportations and violation of court orders. We're also very unified, both Senate and House Democrats. We're completely unified against a big, ugly bill that's going to have 17 million people lose their health care, all to provide tax breaks for billionaires. And so we're doing everything we can to try to slow down and stop the administration. Leader Hakeem Jeffries gave an amazing record-setting speech on the floor last week to slow down the bill and also to make sure that the American people saw the bill for what it is. And so we're doing everything we can. And with American people, we're going to prevail.
Can I just ask you, going back to the ICE raids in your backyard there, what's been the impact, as in the cost, to the community and to California economically?
It is sowing fear for no good reason. You have people who now are not sending their kids to school. We recently had basically a bishop basically say folks don't have to come to church anymore because of these potential ICE raids. And so you're really doing harmful things to families in Southern California, as well as across America. And it's completely illegal. You cannot just go ahead and try to round up a bunch of people because of their skin color or ethnicity. You need to have probable cause or reasonable suspicion, and your skin color and ethnicity do not count for either of those two standards.
All right, speaking of, you know, ethnicity, this brings me to your Stop Hate Crimes Act of 2025 that you introduced just this past week. Tell us about it. What would it do? What are you trying to accomplish?
Under the current federal hate crimes law, it is very restrictive. The only way you get prosecuted is if the sole reason for your crime had to do with race or ethnicity or another protected class. So, for example, let's say you want to rob a whole bunch of people to get money to go buy a gun. And then you go, you know, I really hate Asian Americans also, so I'm just going to rob Asian Americans. Well, it turns out you cannot be charged with federal hate crimes statute because you had another reason for robbing Asian Americans, which was you wanted to get money to go buy a gun. My bill is very simple. It just says that race, ethnicity, or any other protected class just has to be a contributing factor in your decision because people often commit crimes based on multiple reasons. And if race or ethnicity or another protected class is a reason, then you can be charged.
I see. Okay, what do you think are the chances for passage, given how partisan Congress is right now, right? And it's controlled by Republicans.
I think the passage of this bill this term is unlikely because Republicans control. If we flip the House, then I think we definitely have a good chance. But my view is that everything seems impossible until it happens. And so you keep pushing, you keep trying, you keep introducing legislation and fighting back. And you never know when public opinion breaks in your favor, and then Congress passes one of your bills into law.
All right, Congressman Ted Lieu, before I let you go real quickly, I just want to ask you, the Trump administration's second term, the way it's playing out so far in the first 6 months, how does this compare to what you imagined?
It's worse than I imagined. They're simply violating laws, and the courts are stopping a number of those executive orders in various decisions. As over 200 lawsuits have been filed, over 180 injunctions. Now, you may not read about all of those, and I don't even read about all of those because some of those are arcane points of law, but a lot of these executive orders are in fact being stopped.
Congressman Ted Lieu of Los Angeles, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate the time.
Thank you.